I will move on to the next presentation about the schedules. So yeah, good news, everyone. Of course, we had to reschedule some stuff, but we have some additional things. But just my standard disclaimer: please do not put any money on the plans that I present here, because you can lose that money because we change plans. But at least we're doing plans and we're trying to commit to those, and some are filled, and you will see that in statistics. If you don't know what's going on here, this presentation is already done 7th time, so you may find some historical information. We essentially trying to track all the releases which we already tracking or trying to track in Dasharo issues repository in the milestones. Yeah. So some small recap from the last Dasharo user group, just to tell you a little bit about the naming convention, because we have so many platforms, we have to have common language in community to understand each other what we're talking about. So this is the schema. There is also an issue open until end of Q4, which is 7062. If you want to contribute to the schema, please let us know. But the point here is that we want to have kind of way of expressing what kind of version of Dasharo we're talking about. So we're typically saying something like Dasharo, then we're saying about the firmware framework which was used, which could be in this case Coreboot or UEFI. Of course, this list can grow over time, but right now we don't have any other kind of base frameworks used, at least not for the publicly facing Dasharo releases. Then we're adding to that some payload. So for Coreboot, it could be UEFI, it could be heads, it could be CBIOS. For UEFI, there is typically no payload. Then there is customer type if we're talking about, especially when we're talking about the paid version. So we have Pro and Enterprise. And then we have package, for, and then segment market, and can be multiple segment markets. We support emulation, network appliance, laptops, desktops, workstation, and server. Although like some roadmaps for some market segments are not so popular. So how this look like in practice? So in practice, for example, if we would talk about MSI firmware, let's say, we will say Dasharo Coreboot plus UEFI Pro package for desktop. Yeah. So this means something you can buy in shop and get the binaries for MSI. So you can, for example, have heads release for your laptop, for your Nova Custom laptop or your Nitro Key laptop. You will call it the Dasharo Coreboot plus heads Pro package for laptops. Of course, if you are a commercial customer, you will call it Enterprise package. Then there is also network appliance like PC engines, or we will add some like Odroid will be another one in network appliance segment. And we will have firmwares like Dasharo Coreboot plus CBIOS Enterprise package for network appliance. So that means, let's say some organization got a lot of PC engines devices and they would like to get this support from 3MDEP. So they will look probably for this product. Regarding number of releases, it doesn't look great, but it's better than in Q4 2023, because we did 6 releases. 4 releases were public, 2 were commercial. So this was in last quarter. I guess like in this quarter, when I checked that it was already 2, but I know right now, or probably yesterday, there was another release, and I know 2 more are ready to be published. So that number, when I will report that on the next Dasharo user group, will be probably much higher. So because quarter is not yet end. Yeah, so we're planning Odroid, Minnow board, and Dell Optiplex, which is very interesting that it's get back on track. On average, we have 6 releases per quarter. And yeah, and typically the ratio between Dasharo support package releases and Dasharo community releases is like two commercial releases to one community release. Okay. Regarding the market segments, last quarter was focused on the network appliance, but we also did the release for the QEMU, for the emulation. This was related with UEFI capsule stuff. So this is how it looked like. You can see that 46% of releases since for the last 3 years is belonging to laptops, and then next place is network appliance, and then after that desktop. Regarding the status changes, because like everything what I will present on the next slides will essentially talk about five potential statuses of the releases. Either we added some new release, either we changed it because we could change our scope, we could change delivery date, and that's mostly those two things that we're changing. We could be on track, so some stuff is on track, and I'm really happy that this number of on track is like 5.4. It's like a 30% on track. It would be great if there will be 50% on track, but not yet. And there are some, of course, that we remove because there is no traction, or we were too optimistic about delivering that, and that's what removed mean. So yeah, we see that there is this magic number 7, which like since 3 quarters we changing 7 releases, but those are not the same. Okay, emulation. We did the release. You can find this release on docs-dasharo.com. So if you are interested in testing UEFI capsule or QEMU with SMI support, or other, you can look at, for example, at Dasharo features, at Dasharo submenus, how it look like. Then you can try it in QEMU. It's open. It's on the website. Then if we're talking about PC engines, we were able to release the Coreboot plus CBIOS version, which was based on Coreboot version 24.05. I'm planning to do version on 24.08 by the end of this quarter, but this quarter is coming to the end. There is Linux Plumbers and CubesOS, so it may be slightly delayed, but I still want to do that release. The goal for that release would be to add support for the open source firmware validation ecosystem. So this is essentially our framework for public framework for validation, because PC engines are the devices which were validated by the closed version of the validation framework. So my goal is to transition to open version, and I guess that would give me way more tests, way better coverage, way better stability, if any bugs will be detected. And of course, the rebase to the Coreboot 24.08. I didn't look at the release notes yet, so I'm not sure what was included, what could affect PC engines platform. Then there was plan for 091 Coreboot plus UEFI, but this was changed, and right now we targeting Q4. But to be honest, I don't know if this will happen. We have some features which should be delivered in that release, like an improved measured boot, but still we don't know if we will have time and budget to do that. So this is kind of stretch goal. And last thing that we wanted to do is the Coreboot plus CBIOS, and this is based on Coreboot 4.0. So someone may ask, who need that old Coreboot based firmware? And there are some people who have PC engines in factories, and they're using this very old version. But so far there was no traction from them, not much communication. So it's still planned for Q4, and kind of not. I'm not sure if this will be released, unless someone will call me and really need that. I will probably focus on a 24.08 version. Next piece is the Protectly VP46 based Coreboot plus CBIOS. So normally Protectly release Coreboot plus UEFI, but this is completely different firmware. for protecting, and is tied to our effort to enable trench boot. Some status was presented by Michał Żygowski on Zen Summit, and then next kind of milestone is to present things on CubesOS Summit, and we will see how far we can go. Of course, we are distracted by external events. That's why this takes so long. But I hope we finally will start to gain products which are trench boot capable in our shop. So stay tuned, and this is on the roadmap. Other thing that we're planning to do is Minnow board Turbot. So Minnow board is Intel Bay Trail, very old hardware, but there are still people using it. There are still people who have it. Unfortunately, I looked at eBay and various other places and couldn't find it. We also did a secure boot and fusing of those platforms. We had 6, and because of our experimentation, I guess we are left with 2 or even 1. So we cannot sell the last unfused version. But yes, still this release is planned. I don't think there will be any further releases unless someone will be really interested about Intel Bay Trail. You can say this is very, very old, but yeah, people still using that and using that in serious business environment. And this is our new kit in the blog, about which today Michał Żygowski will talk on VPAP and will show demo. So hard kernel Odroid H4 Plus. The roadmap was even, we can say it is on track, but the deadline was planned to the end of the Q4, and I think it will happen earlier. I think it will happen closer to the beginning of Q4. At this point, we don't plan to test H4 and H4 Ultra. Those are similar, or very, very, very similar. But since we don't have this hardware, we don't plan to test it. If it will work with Dasharo, then great. If it will not work with Dasharo, that's a missed chance. But we probably then, if community would like to have it, then we will probably fix that, buy those platforms and test. So I'm very happy to have it. We will see. We have a lot of hopes related to that platform. It's very nice. I guess this is the only platform we could find which has open schematics, which is very important for doing the core boot port. And yeah, hopefully you will like it. Regarding laptops, this is another thing that we're planning on the Nova Custom laptops. Those are not related to regular Dasharo Support Package releases on the laptops, but we're planning tech preview of the trench boot support and also trust root support with fusing your own keys. This also like taking us time, but we're planning to do the demo next week on the CubesOS Summit. So stay tuned. Then we have Lenovo Think Center. There is no traction here, no interest. I kind of decided that this will be removed, and unless there will be some interest in Think Center M700, M900, we will get back on track. The code is there. The problem is that we just have to invest in the validation, and we have to see the interest that it will monetize to the extent that it makes sense to maintain that platform and integrate Dasharo features. Then interesting case is Dell Optiplex 7010, 9010. I guess we have it on roadmap for very, very long time. This is on roadmap since dark number 1. So already 7 quarters. Yeah, but we finally have it. We finally have this release. I guess everything is there. It was validated. Binary is already there. It's just a matter of publishing the newsletter and letting people know that it's available. And I guess in shop we have even pre-order for it. And then next step for this will be support for trench boot. So this is already prepared. But I will tell a little bit about the hardware platform on the Shameless Plug presentation. MSI, I guess on MSI, there is no traction right now. We just moved all the releases to the end of year. Very likely, we didn't make a decision yet, but it's very likely that all the releases will be concatenated in community release, and there will be like public binary version 1.2 for Z690. And then we will switch to one release per year probably, unless there will be some huge group which will be interested. But looking at how popular this platform is, there is some limit to how many community members may care about it, and especially that it is no longer produced and it is hard to get. Then the 790, same situation, not much to discuss. Then heads. I know many people would like to see a new release of heads, especially that in heads a lot of things going on. But currently, I have no new plans for this platform. The sales volume is very, very low. I guess like we could potentially do one release, but right now we're sticking to the minimal number of releases for this product per year. In case of Talos, there was plan for Talos V08, but since I'm keep moving this release to the next quarter and we have no budget for it, then we decided to remove it. If there will be plan for that, we will just get back on track with the bringing back Talos to Dasharo. So there's still, of course, release which we're trying to up the power support, which we're trying to upstream to core boot. It's a lot of code, but yeah, this effort we're not neglecting. We're just not doing new release for Talos. Changelog. This is like something that helps me track what changed. Okay, how are we doing with time? Okay, we have 15 minutes to end of the. Okay, good. Maybe we will have some. Maybe we should take some questions. Oh yeah. So I see there is some. What are the plans for security patches? Security patches of which one? Of MSI? Demi. So I guess like generally anything needing a patch between releases. So what I can say, I would like to know what precisely needs a patch, and then we can start talking about that. I know there was microcode update for the for Raptor Clay, don't degrade. I don't know if that microcode was finally made public, because I heard that there was no public microcode of that. And yes, I guess that's something that we have to do.
Yeah, if there's just a security vulnerability in something that needs fixing.
Yes, the only thing I can think of is the MSI Raptor Lake based, and yes, that's the question. Where is this microcode? Yeah, because I heard that Andrew mentioned that it's not really public. Yeah, this is something that have to be checked. The problem right now is that whole team is completely saturated with various activities. So last couple of weeks where that a bunch of people were on vacation or on conferences. Until end of this quarter, there are still people on conferences. So we essentially don't have hands which can do this update right now. But if we can agree on which platform has public microcode, we can discuss about releasing that. So the point is, yeah, Demi.
So My thought there is you should probably ship an update every time there's a microcode update. Sorry. You should probably ship an update whenever there's a microcode update and make sure that the make sure
figure out.
Demi, there is some problem with your mic. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I hear you much better right now.
Yeah, it was saturated. It was saturated and it was off scale high. So it was
Okay, now it's good.
Okay. So what I was thinking is that a patch that just has new microcode should be possible to do in a very, very easy way. Like that should be almost entirely automated.
Yes, of course. But the point is what you're doing with the validation, like how you approach the validation. So to schedule,
you have automated CI.
So what CI does, like what CI does not. So what you're expecting from CI? CI
automated automated testing
for hardware.
Yes.
So yes, we have that, but the point is that so we have like, I don't know why, 150 or 200 tests which have to be executed. It takes a lot of time. Gathering results of that, analysis of results of that take time. It's like it's probably a person or two people assigned, and it's not only that, because it requires whole the release process. So it's like how long it takes to do the release in CubesOS.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought you could just. Have there been any case? Have you ever been broken by a microcode regression?
But this is rough assumption. Like this is very rough assumption. So we can do that. Like say like, okay, here is the release. You can flash it, but we didn't test it. So I don't know.
No, I get that.
Like
yeah, you're right. That's not a good one. That's a bad assumption.
Yeah.
That's a bad assumption. It's like and you're right. The microcode does have regressions. I'm looking at the one that caused CPU undefined behavior when Zen did something that was allowed but just not recommended. So yes, but yeah, okay. I thought you had a more automated release pipeline, but
Yeah, so the release pipeline is semi-automated, I would say. The test can be run. The point is that you have to. It's not about not having this automated. It's quite automated. The point is you have to assign people. You have to you have to not do something which you already planned, which you have already delays for.
I see.
So
I guess my thought was, could it be small enough that you can just, especially because this would apply to pretty much all platforms at least for a lot of them. Could you just treat that as an occasional interrupt? Could you just include budget time for interruptions due to security vulnerabilities or microcode updates?
Yes, so as I said, like I'm willing to do this. But the point is, like, we have to agree which one. That's something which will have to happen through tickets and in the community. I will not do this like for every supported platform. That's crazy. Like that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, can you explain? I am a bit confused here. I thought you would need to do microcode updates for every supported platform that gets a microcode update from Intel.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, really, all the microarchitectures?
I would have assumed.
We don't have just with. I don't know. Like I don't know if all the I know about Raptor Lake. I don't know if all the microarchitectures, all like Alder Lake and Tiger Lake, like everything gets the new microcode. So I didn't heard about.
All the ones that are not end of life will occasionally. I guess what I'm saying is that, to me, a microcode update, or somebody found a security vulnerability in EDK2, or let's hope not, somebody finds a critical vulnerability in Dasharo itself. To me, those seem like asynchronous events that you just need to be able to handle when they happen.
Yes, I know. Yes, that's I
and therefore agree. And that take priority over whatever is currently happening. Yeah.
Yes, but the problem is like this: the evaluation of the severity
Okay.
is
So,
questionable, because if
for
we talk like
microcode,
that,
I see. For microcode, my assumption has always been that presumably it's bad, otherwise they wouldn't have put it in a microcode update. But I don't know if that's a good
Yes.
assumption.
Yes, I agree. Like definitely, like for the Raptor Lake, we definitely have to do the update.
Yeah.
We owe that update. This is no question about it. The point is, where is the microcode? I see that there are already some links flying. That's the
Yeah.
question of realizing, is this really the one that we want, and is it really the microcode which should be published? I see there is some discussion here.
So the good news
don't
is
know.
that if you have a CPU, that if you have a binary, you can just check if it's if it is the microcode. And
yeah, this is something that I have to check and see which platforms should get this hotfix.
Okay.
I guess the other thing is,
go ahead.
Of course, the vulnerability in the BIOS is like, available at the time of booting, using the BIOS, yeah, and then you handing over to the operating system, and then of course Linux patch the microcode itself, yeah. So I guess that the scope, the exposure is also like relatively limited, let's say, yeah. Especially if you have other security mechanism in place, yeah.
That is true.
But I agree. This is something that should be addressed. We just have to agree which one are the top priority right now, and start from that one. And the decisions,
the one that causes hardware damage is the top priority.
So in case of Dasharo Support Package, the decision is not ours, because we asking vendor if they want to spend this budget on that. If they don't want, then I'm sorry, like it's like we don't have budget for that, we're not doing that, but that's the vendor decision. But we didn't have escalated questions or inquiries in Dasharo Support Package yet. So yeah,
that's true. Maybe you don't have it. That is fair. Maybe you don't have anyone who runs the relevant versions, who has affected CPUs. I mean,
yeah, at least nobody yet asked for that, or nobody yet, raised the problem.
True. Because they might not realize they need to ask, because most people don't realize. I didn't know that if that was. They might not realize they need to ask, because most of the time you assume that you will just get a new. Most people assume, at least for me, my assumption has always been that if there's an update, I would get it. I would not need to ask for it if there's an update needed. I don't know if that might be a bad assumption, but it's an assumption that people will make, that people might make.
Yeah, I agree. It's just just like that. 3M dev team is limited. We have limited capacity. We can't interrupt some work, but the recent time was like we were very distracted over, like, I don't know, last month or something. There were people on vacation and so on. But we get back on track, and we would like to improve the reaction for for publication of the new microcode, especially one that causing some problems.
Makes sense.
Okay. I see there is some question about KGP D16. Yeah, the new core boot is available. We made the rebase. Some people even claimed it is more stable than 4.11 version. I guess we did that for 4.14, if I remember correctly. Let me check that. Yeah, this is this one.